WrestleMania 35 is coming to us this Sunday, April 7th in New Jersey at the MetLife Stadium. As always, we love to kick on back and offer preview and predictions. It's a special installment of the RCWR Show's Call That Match series, offering preview and predictions for WrestleMania 35. This is a huge card, and I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as possible for you guys. I know without a shadow of doubt we will be done with this a lot sooner than the actual pay-per-view event itself, because that's going to be a 8+ hour long event. And just think, in that 8+ hour time span, you could have already watched 2, 3, possibly 4 pay-per-view events from other wrestling promotions. Just a little bit of something to think about. Now, before I dive into this, if you did not already, I did upload a NXT TakeOver New York Call That Match edition. It is available right now over on YouTube. Check that out when you guys get an opportunity. As far as a compilation of the NXT combined with the WrestleMania 35, I'll probably combine the two audio pieces and have it be a free-for-all on Patreon. But the way it's standing right now, it's just gonna be separate. But you can keep checking out the Patreon pages for any updates, as well as stay connected to me on social media, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR Show. Without any further delay, please, let's go ahead and let's jump into WrestleMania 35. A lot of matches. Let's try to get through this as quickly as possible. We've got, for the Raw Tag Team titles, the Revivals, Dash Wilder and Scott Dawson taking on Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Not really any type of a storyline was built into this. This just really kind of came out of nowhere. If you really stop and think about it, we've pretty much seen the Revival go through all types of different tag teams here and there over the course of the past couple of weeks. Kind of looked as though maybe at one point, maybe Ricochet and Aleister Black were maybe going to be facing the Revival for the tag titles and everything, but it doesn't seem that's the way things have panned out at the juncture we're at now. So keeping all of that in mind, okay, so WrestleMania is happening in MetLife Stadium. It's happening in New Jersey. Zack Ryder, Dash Wilder, they are from New York City, so just not that much of a short distance from New Jersey. So, you know, or correction, since WrestleMania is happening in New Jersey and Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder are from the New York area, that's a short distance from New Jersey. You kind of have that vibe that maybe the crowd is going to be very pro Kurt Hawkins and Zack Ryder. Paying attention to this matchup, and I just have this feeling, as far as a good feel moment, that this would be it for the fans. I don't really think that WWE seriously wants to entertain the idea of having the Revival walk out of MetLife Stadium to a chorus of boos, and it would not be the type of boos where you heel talent, you heel tag team, go away, be gone, I say, oh, you're evil. Oh, it's not that type of heat that would be coming their way. You've seen and you've heard the reactions towards the Revival. They are a bit lackluster for many. I love those guys. I love them tremendously. The best way I can sum up the Revival, in all honesty, they are doing this whole gimmick that they have. It is in the wrong time period. It is in the wrong time period. Only the hardcore wrestling fans, such as myself, could appreciate a nice throwback team like the Revival. But with what all they've been doing thus far on the main roster, it's just not clicking with the WWE universe. I'm telling you, to have this team walk out of MetLife with the tag titles, there's not gonna, I can almost picture it right now. There would not be a chorus of boos. There wouldn't even be cheers. It would be pretty quiet. I'm guaranteeing you. So for WWE to kind of risk that, now it's very well possible this match could be part of the pre-show. It's very well possible, rather than go to the main show. It's possible this could be part of the pre-show, but even if you were to put it on the pre-show and people are just slowly starting to file in and everything, I don't think so. I think Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder are going to walk out as the new Raw Tag Team Champions. And look, think about this. Kurt Hawkins, loss after loss after loss after loss after loss, and it's become quite a new running gag, almost so that you could almost say Kurt Hawkins is the new Brooklyn Brawler. You can almost go in that direction. He's a modern day Brooklyn Brawler, right? And we all remember the first W that Brooklyn Brawler had finally picked up, right? I won't spoil it for you guys. That's a good little trivia that y'all could use and have that in your background in case you might need it to win a prize or whatever later down the road. But yeah, I just kind of feel as the Lou Rawls song, Lady Luck. Yeah, I'm seeing a little bit of Lady Luck shining in the favor of Kurt Hawkins' win streak finally, or the lost record, it finally comes to an end. New Raw Tag Team Champions. Yeah, that's the direction I'm going in right now. Meanwhile, you've got the Usos taking on Ricochet and Aleister Black, also taking on The Bar and Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev. It is a fatal 4-way tag match for the SmackDown Tag Team titles. Now, going back to what I had said on the NXT TakeOver predictions episode, if you guys remember, I had said the way I would personally book the team of Ricochet and Aleister Black, I would have them not only win the NXT tag titles, but I would also have them win the SmackDown tag titles as well. I highly would encourage you guys to go back and listen to why I had laid all of that out. The NXT TakeOver predictions episode was about 27 minutes long. Might have been a little less than that, but you'll understand why I said what I said with regards to Aleister Black and Ricochet. Now, following up on what I had said on that episode, I would like to see this team clean house, right? But I don't see that happening. I definitely do not see them, just to kind of throw a little bit of a teaser out there, I don't see them winning the NXT tag titles at Friday's TakeOver event. However, I do see them walking out, as all signs seem to indicate that it's all about them right now. And all signs seem to indicate that Ricochet and Aleister Black are going to win the tag titles. And it makes a lot of sense, because when you really stop and think about it, you look at the numerous times that the Usos have been the tag champions. And honestly, this is, look, let me keep going, because I was actually going to go in a different direction, but let me keep going with that train of thought, right? So, Usos, established veteran tag team champions, right? They've been to the dance so many times. They know how to tell a really good story with a really good team. Whether they need to get themselves over or they need to put another team over, Usos, good, steady, and hot hand. Very reliable. They've been tag team champions multiple times. The Bar, they have been tag team champions multiple times as well. Now, you look at the team of Shinsuke Nakamura and Rusev, you could kind of make the argument that these two men kind of need a little bit of something to do, because they're just floating around there. They don't really have any type of substance to cater this union, this new union, right? We still don't really know, okay, you two guys, opposites attract on so many levels. What exactly is the nucleus? What exactly is keeping you guys together? We haven't really seen that moment where, yes, I'll explain to you why I gravitated towards Rusev. And hey, you, Rusev, explain why you gravitated towards Nakamura. We never really have seen anything like that. It's just basically a random damn thing that honestly I don't really feel is going anywhere. Okay? Now, would it be a smart move to put the tag titles on them? It would be a smart move, but I'm just not seeing that happen. I think all the stars are aligned right now in putting over the new, young, up-and-coming talent, which is the Ricochet and the Aleister Black. I'm still not feeling them as a tag team. I feel as though they really should have been going on singles career paths, but I do commend the WWE for putting these two guys together to really try to help put a little bit of a facelift on the tag team division as it continues to find tweaks here and there, right? So I do give WWE a lot of credit, but yes, I think with regards to all of what I kept in mind there just now, Ricochet, Aleister Black, new SmackDown tag team champions. You need some new blood right now, honestly, and it comes into really good timing when it's all said and done. I just hope that after they win the titles, it could definitely continue to be a case where they are not only on SmackDown, but you can still see them on Raw, and you can still see them on NXT as well. Go back, check out the NXT TakeOver, Call That Match edition to learn more on why I want it that way. Moving to our next match. Looks like during the pre-show, there's going to be a WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal. Up for grabs is the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal trophy. Just thinking about all the women that could be in this, 2, possibly 3 names jump out at me right now. You could maybe go in the direction of a Nikki Cross. Spontaneously, we just saw her on this go home edition of SmackDown. I totally have forgot all about her, right? Now, I'm telling you what I personally would like to see, but what would probably most likely happen. You got to remember that when it comes to these prediction shows. I personally would love to see Nikki Cross win it, all right? I do believe that Nikki Cross has a very good, strong fan base. I do believe that with the little bit that we had saw of her when she was up on Raw a couple of times, the crowd seemed to favor her is the right word that I want to use, right? They seem to be a bit warm, a bit receptive to her and everything. And then we just saw all of a sudden a huge scaling back of Nikki Cross. So keeping that in mind, as far as giving a young upcoming talent a bit of a momentum swing, a Nikki Cross would benefit tremendously off of winning the WrestleMania Women's Battle Royal, I personally feel. Now, will it go in that direction? No. Another name that jumps out at me is one Lacey Evans. Lacey Evans still technically relatively hasn't done anything just yet, and you'd like to believe if there was ever kind of didn't really see that coming, she could be the dark horse. She really could. So my gut is telling me that Lacey Evans very well could win this Women's Royal Rumble event. But my personal choice would be one Mandy Rose. Mandy Rose is coming along very well. Very well. She has made leaps and bounds of improvement within the past 6 to 7 months alone. I like what's going on with her right now. And when I just match her up to a Lacey Evans, I just personally feel that a Mandy Rose would benefit more from winning the Women's Battle Royal than a Lacey Evans. And I want to explain to you the reason why, which is when you look at the Revival and you hear the fans' reactions, it's just not clicking. Now, if you were to take the Revival and put them in the old NWA territory days, or put them with Vern Gagne and the AWA or Memphis Wrestling, right? If you were to go do the time warp again and go in those respected eras, the Revival would thrive big time. They, I feel, would probably be a little bit lost in the shuffle during the 80s, but they definitely would have gelled very well with the Rockers, the Midnight Express, etc. I think they would have done pretty well for themselves, honestly. The Steiner brothers, they would have done okay for themselves, yes. But in this current era, and those throwback gimmicks, at least as far as in the WWE universe, as of late, it's just not clicking. Now, when I look at Lacey Evans, she is beautiful. Make no mistake about it. She is very beautiful. But from the moment that I first saw her take part in the Mae Young Classic to when she got called up on the roster, I was having a bit of a hard time understanding, okay, what exactly is her gimmick? And I'm still a bit confused about her gimmick to this very day, because on the one hand, the way she was kind of coming off, the way I perceived her at first, it was, oh, okay, so she's kind of like a civilian Peggy Carter, female Captain America type of, okay, all right. And then it was, okay, now she's this independent, strong woman that cares about respect. She has high standards, or, okay, I think I see what's going on. And now we've got this throwback. It's still each incarnation that I've seen so far up to now, it's still this throwback woman of the 40s or 30s, maybe even the 50s or something like that. And for me, looking at things from a WWE Universe perspective, that's just not gonna click with the fans overall. And the wrestler, at the end of the day, needs to take a little bit of the heat for that gimmick, because when it's all said and done, they're the ones that's going out there. They can get a good feel from the crowd and everything. And hey, look, to Lacey Evans' credit, maybe it's a situation where she kind of knows that, okay, I can't really say anything right now because creative is giving me an opportunity. I got to run with the ball. But I'm sure if you were to get her behind closed doors, I'm sure she would cold-heartedly be honest and tell you, yeah, I really don't think the fans are clicking to this gimmick that I'm trying to put out there. Maybe it is a bit outdated. I could use a little bit of a refresher. And I would like to believe that maybe she's brainstorming or whatever, trying to figure out, okay, how can we get this character evolved to a point that it can not only be relevant to the WWE universe, but it's something that they can get behind and they can give a damn about. Because when you hear her music, there's no reactions. When you see her come out, none of that is going on right now. And I think until the fans see a moment where, okay, now we should really start giving a damn about this person, right? Me, I would book her entirely different. We'll share that on another episode of the RCWR show. But I look at Mandy Rose, right? Phenomenal in the ring, oozing personality before she even opens her mouth. I mean, just the way that she can come out there, command the camera, command your attention, everything. I like that. And what's also built in to her right now is the little bit of miscommunication, mishaps that she's had going on with Sonya Deville. That would eventually make a great little story arc when the two of them eventually face off and everything, to have everything kind of be built around at the center of it all, the women's battle royal. I think that would be very, very, very interesting. Look for the team of Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville to team up once again, do pretty good, cleaning house and everything. I wouldn't be surprised if, as far as your final six, Mandy Rose, Sonya Deville, they're going to be part of that, but I would not be surprised if something were to happen along the lines of Mandy betrays Sonya, and maybe that leads to some type of a fallout post WrestleMania, but something to keep your eyes on. So what could be the WWE approach, Lacey Evans wins, but what I personally would like to see is Mandy Rose picking up the W in the Women's Battle Royal. Next up, we've got Daniel Bryan taking on Kofi Kingston for the WWE Championship. Look, man, look. I love Daniel Bryan. Kind of follow up what I've been talking about on the show the past couple of weeks. I love everything that Daniel Bryan has been doing as the planet's champion. I really do. But it gets to a point where you ask yourself, all right, let's say he retains the WWE title. Well, then what is next? Who is his next opponent? Because everybody that he cycled through so far, right, Do fans really want to see things get recycled? Who's next? Do you go back to Kevin Owens? Do you go back to AJ Styles? Do you maybe go with Randy Orton? What exactly are we doing here, right? So you really need for things to shake up. And I think that all signs are indicating Kofi Kingston is going to walk out as the new WWE champion. It follows up on what I had said on the RCWR show, not this week, but last week. That would have been, I'm actually looking at the calendar right now, that would have been the episode that dropped on, I want to say, March the 26th. I basically had talked about how just from a marketing standpoint, you have so many new opportunities for Kofi Kingston, and you honestly need that right now, considering everything that has come about with that John Oliver bullshit that went down from HBO. Okay, I brought that up already on this week's show that had dropped for April the 5th. You can go and hear what I had to say about that candidly, but just from a marketing, just from a PR standpoint, having Kofi Kingston win the WWE Championship, look at it from this standpoint, okay? Here is a second African-American WWE champion. As a black man, I'm recognizing Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. I don't care what anybody else says. Oh, The Rock's not black. His dad's black. Thus, he is part black. He's part black. He's part Samoan. What do you not understand about that? What do you not understand about that? So Kofi Kingston would be the second black WWE champion. Now, if you want to get all technical and say, hey, Kofi Kingston is the first 100% black champion. He is the first 100% African-American champion. Okay, I'll give you that. But make sure you're being technical if you're going to want to try to go there. All right. But he would be the second black champion in the company's history. That is good on so many levels. He holds himself very well when it comes to doing any and all types of interviews. Put a microphone in front of him. Tell him wherever he needs to go. He looks good. He has a nice warm face, right? He's got nice looking teeth. He is very articulate. He has personality. Check, 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 check. Great ambassador for your company. And not to mention, with regards to Kofi Kingston, just the amount of network specials that you can do with him as far as WWE content, things of that nature. This would have a lot of people talking, especially in this day and age that we're in right now, where, think about it, we've already seen a black president, right? You look at what's going on with the Senate, with Congress, and with everybody that's won in their respective wards, be it for mayor or whatever. Women really dominated this past electoral season, okay? Minorities as well dominated this past electoral season, okay? So to have everything basically be reflected in the WWE with a black champion walking out, oh yeah, that's going to have so many people talking on so many levels. Now look, no disrespect to guys like Jay Lethal and ROH that's been freaking tearing it up. You know what I'm saying? No disrespect to Jay Lethal. I see what you're doing, man. I see what you're doing. But there has been a bigger narrative, if you've been a WWE fan for some decades now, where at some point, once a year, a couple of times a year, it's always brought up, when is WWE going to pull the trigger and give us a black champion? What the hell? And to WWE's credit, there's been many times throughout history where there were black athletes WWE was strongly considering and making a WWE champion, but it was self-destruction on that talent's part. More on that when we go into next week's RCWR show, but I am going with Kofi Kingston. You got to shake things up a bit. You honestly do. Now, I still feel that post WrestleMania, I still feel, just as I said on the show 2 weeks ago, that Big E, I have this feeling that Big E is going to be the one that's going to part ways with the New Day. I just have this feeling that he's going to be jealous. I mean, there's a built-in storyline right there, and I'll dive into it more maybe when we go into the WrestleMania after show, but there is enough in there that's built in that you can easily have him turn on Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. So as far as, hey, what's the first feud that we could look towards for Kofi Kingston? Because, supposedly storyline wise, no more instant rematches. So yeah, Big E, somewhere down the road in the very near future, Kofi Kingston defends that title against Big E. Next matchup, we've got the Boston Hug Connection, Bayley and Sasha Banks. They're going to be defending the women's tag titles against Beth Phoenix, Natalya. Yes, Boston Hug Connection. It's Bayley and Sasha Banks taking on Beth Phoenix and Natalya. They're also taking on the Iconics, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce. Also, Nia Jax and Tamina. Fatal 4-way tag match for the women's tag titles. Interesting one right here. I think Bayley and Sasha Banks served their purpose well in establishing these women's tag titles. I really do. And for them to be crowned the first women's tag champions this go round that the titles have been resurrected, I think honestly it had to be them. But now that you're going to the biggest stage of them all, yes. I was kind of thinking about it, and what a great feeling, what a great moment that would be. You have Natalya's dad, the late Jim the Anvil Neidhart, take his rightful place in the WWE Hall of Fame as he and Bret Hart, the Hart Foundation, their respected tag team, they're going to be inducted in this year's class. How awesome of a weekend would that be to also have Natty come out of WrestleMania with her bestie, Beth Phoenix, and they come out of there and they win the Raw Tag Team titles. I mean, you could easily just see the promo leading up to this tag match where Natty says, hey, I just want to take this time out and I just want to thank the WWE. I also want to thank the WWE Universe for a phenomenal night less than 24 hours ago with the WWE Hall of Fame. You have no idea how much that meant to me just to see all of the warm, kind wishes that everybody had to say about my dad, and what a beautiful ceremony that it was last night. I appreciated the words that my Uncle Brett had said about my dad, and I tell you, going into this tag match, I just can't help but really feel I need to take it up to another level. I just feel as though my dad is watching from somewhere tonight, and he's been watching me ever since he passed away. I feel his spirit is still with me to this very day, and you know what? I'm gonna dedicate this match tonight to him in his honor. I just see a scenario coming about where Beth Phoenix and Natty could walk out as the Raw Tag Champions. If I was writing this, that is exactly how I would set this up. Now, what is WWE possibly going to do? First of all, should you go with the team, the Iconics? Hell no. They freaking suck big time, and I don't mean in a way where they'll give you the hookup and you're in heaven, right? I'm not talking about that kind of suck. Don't even get me started on the Iconics, really. Do not get me started on the Iconics. Nia Jax, Tamina, really been coming along. I've really been enjoying their pairing. Nothing more I would love to see than them become tag champions. That would be a very interesting dynamic. And let's not also forget that Nia Jax had some pretty good moments there. Yeah, the inadvertent punch to the face. What was it? The punch to the face of freaking Becky Lynch. And she was able to ride that for a hot minute and everything. But thinking about some of the stuff that she said on social media, because, she's ruffled a few feathers here and there. I'm not really seeing them walking out as the tag champion. So for me, it's really coming down to Boss and Hook connection retain, or Beth Phoenix and Natty? I just have this feeling that Beth Phoenix, Natty. Beth Phoenix, Natty, that's how I would book this. If WWE were to go in a different direction, definitely not a retain. I think, honestly, you should go ahead and put it on Nia Jax and Tamina. But I would love to see Beth Phoenix and Natty. If you're asking me to go on the record, what would I like to see? I would like to see Beth Phoenix and Natty, and honestly, let them go ahead and drop the titles at the next pay-per-view. That's how you do it, plain and simple. All right, next up, we've got Roman Reigns. Roman Reigns! He punched people in the face after dropping off his face. Roman Reigns! Actually, yeah, I think I got something there. Roman Reigns. He jumps off the rope, leaps into the air to punch you in the face. Roman Reigns! All the ladies go crazy 'cause of his wet hair. Roman Reigns! He clocks his fist like he's jerking off. Roman Reigns! Taking on Drew McIntyre. Don't mind me, I'm being silly right now. Roman Reigns taking on Drew McIntyre. I honestly don't care about this match. I honestly don't. I just really don't. This is the battle of two men with wet hair, as far as I'm concerned. Look, this is a foregone conclusion. Roman's gonna get this. Roman's got this, right? Drew's been just poking fun at him and pretty much poking fun at his health and all of that. This is Roman Reigns' first big true test storyline wise, as far as singles match and all that. His first singles match since being back in the WWE, most of all on the grandest stage of them all, WrestleMania and all that. Yeah, Roman Reigns hands down. Bobby Lashley taking on Finn Balor, but it ain't any old type of Finn Balor, kind of following up on what we said on the RCWR show this week. I'm not just gonna have pizza. I'm gonna have pizza with mushrooms on it. That's Finn Balor turning into Demon Balor in a nutshell. For the Intercontinental Championship, I gotta go with Balor. Balor hands down. Hopefully we see some type of a moment where maybe Leo Rush is trying to act like the Weasel, Bobby the Brain Heenan for a little bit, and get scared shitless when he finally comes face to face with Demon Balor and all that. Hopefully we can see some type of a cool little spot like that, but this is another match that honestly I don't really care about. It does nothing for me whatsoever. Meanwhile, the Samoa Joe Rey Mysterio match for the United States title, that one could be a lot better, right? This one I'm very intrigued by. And the carrot that's dangling, I think, in everybody's face right now is one young Dominic. And I find it very interesting that young Dominic had popped up a couple of times there on SmackDown in recent weeks. And I just have this feeling, just picture this. Dominic is at ringside watching his dad, Rey Mysterio, have this great epic fight with Samoa Joe. I could see at one point Samoa Joe going on over to Dominic, trash talking, maybe spits at him or whatever. I could just see Dominic hitting Samoa Joe with a right hand or whatever. I could see a case come about where Rey Mysterio invites his son to come in the ring and they do some type of a cool spot together or whatever. Now, look, I think as all of this is going to go down, you somehow got to have the referee be taken out of the equation, not unless you're going to do a no DQ or no count out or something of that nature, right? But I think there's a reason why we've seen Dominic, right? Two things. One, Rey Mysterio officially introducing Dominic once again, or reintroducing Dominic to the WWE Universe once again. But I also think this was done as a way of planting a spot that we're potentially going to be seeing at WrestleMania in this match. So I've got, when it's all said and done, Rey Mysterio. I've got Rey Mysterio walking out as the new United States champion with a little bit of help from his son. Now, the way things, as far as down the road, I can see some type of a retaliation thing coming about where Samoa Joe takes out Rey Mysterio. Because remember, this is the thing that a lot of people are not talking about. Rey Mysterio has signed a new deal with the WWE. Now, if I'm not mistaken, I want to say Rey Mysterio had signed a 1-year deal. I will need for you all to correct me if I'm wrong, because WWE tried to get him in a much longer term of a deal. I think something around the ballpark of 3 to 5 years, but Rey would not commit to that. Rey pretty much was like, let's do 1 year. Let's see how things go. Option to renew. Let's just see how things go. But yes, 1 year for now. So keeping all of that in mind, we could see, and look, the terms as far as the dates Rey Mysterio has agreed upon, I would like to believe that at the age that he's at right now and all of the other side projects that he has going on right now, I would like to believe that Rey Mysterio has somewhat of a similar deal that Randy Orton has as far as limited dates, if not even more limited. And we could definitely, if I'm booking this, I'm seeing the situation come about on the very next episode of SmackDown where Samoa Joe just finds Rey Mysterio backstage or whatever, beats the living shit out of him, puts Rey Mysterio out of commission for maybe a month and a half, 2 months, right? Enter Dominic, and I would dare say, do not be surprised if in a WWE ring you see Dominic and Samoa Joe go at it where Dominic is fighting for his father's honor. Don't laugh at that, because Rey Mysterio's son has been training for a couple of years now, and from what I've been able to hear, he's coming along very well. So just something to kind of think about. But Rey Mysterio, I got him becoming the new United States champion. Yes, I can definitely see a case coming about there where Rey Mysterio gets the title. Again, you got to remember, there's no more instant rematches. That's the other thing that you got to remember. There's no more instant rematches. So how do you explain if Samoa Joe's going to be able to technically put Rey Mysterio on commission or whatever? How do you explain? Well, quite simple. It's something that we haven't seen in quite a long time. Why not have a story arc come about where WWE powers, they told Rey Mysterio, look, we understand you're hurt right now and everything. You just won the title. We can kind of work with you. Find a substitute that can defend the title until you come back. And I could definitely see it be a case where young Dominic is the substitution for his dad. Just something to think about. That's how I would set it up. Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal match for the Andre the Giant Memorial Trophy. Who do I like in this one? You know, if I could have it my way, I would love to see Lars Sullivan. You want to get the ball rolling on a good note, put Lars Sullivan in there. But just looking at everybody that is in this thing right now, I'm just gonna go down the list and sorry about that. I'm just gonna go down the list here. Michael Shea, Colin Jost, SNL, no. Apollo Crews, no. Titus O'Neil, no. Tyler Breeze, no. Jinder Mahal, no. No Way Jose, no. Bobby Roode, no. Chad Gable, no. Kalisto, no. Grand Metalik, no. Lindsay Dorado, no. Curtis Axel, maybe. Heath Slater, no. Rhino, no. Victor, no. Connor, no. Andrade, maybe. Mustafa Ali, I don't care what y'all calling him now. I'm still calling him Mustafa Ali. Just calling him Ali. That's stupid. Mustafa Ali, yes. Shelton Benjamin, no. Lou Gallows, no. Carl Anderson, no. Matt Hardy. No, Matt Hardy won it last year, did he not? So, no. Jeff Hardy. So, Jeff Hardy did not win it. He could. That's a yes. Otis, no. Tucker, no. EC3, no. So it's pretty much down to a Jeff Hardy, Mustafa Ali, Andrade. I know Braun Strowman is in there. I'm not seeing that. Okay, so for me, it is down to Andrade, Mustafa Ali, Jeff Hardy, and I'm just going through the rest of the names. Those are the three. Those are the three I'm homing in on. Now, let's give it to a young person, I say. If I'm writing this, I'm booking this, I'm in the ear of upper WWE creative heads, I'm telling them, look, it's obvious we've got a soft spot for Mustafa Ali. The future is very bright for this young man. Look at the great rubs that he's had with AJ Styles, Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe, etc., etc., etc. I think the direction that you should be going in is continuing to elevate Mustafa Ali. Continue to elevate his stock the best that you know how. And I think the best way you can do that is by having him come out of this and being the winner. I think as far as what you can do creatively for the next batch of weeks in programming, how he came out on top, that opens up the door to have other people that participated in this challenge him. Like, for example, Shelton Benjamin, or maybe Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, maybe even Andrade. And I think he and Andrade would have a fantastic program if you were to stretch it out over a couple of weeks going into the next pay-per-view event. So Mustafa Ali is the one I'm eyeing that could and should win the whole damn thing. As far as a second runner-up, if not Mustafa Ali, only because I think his stock has diminished just a little bit and you kind of got to get him hot once again. He's cooled off a little bit. Andrade. But when it's all said and done, I'm seeing a SmackDown guy winning this one. All right, let's go on to our next matchup here. What we got left here? AJ Styles taking on Randy Orton. The way they just kind of threw this together, and they've been making the most of it, I would have to say. Both men have been making the most of it. Let me see here. This is an interesting one. Well, AJ Styles, I'm trying to think here. Let's go back to last year's WrestleMania for a second, which would have been WrestleMania 34. And let's just go back for a second. At last year's WrestleMania, AJ Styles had defeated Shinsuke Nakamura for the WWE Championship. And then when you go to WrestleMania 33, remember AJ Styles had the match with Shane McMahon, and he defeated him at that pay-per-view event. And so kind of keeping that in mind, AJ Styles has been on a little bit of a hot streak so far, so to speak, right? So, interesting. Very interesting. So he's 2-0 right now at WrestleMania. He could go 3-0 if he goes over Randy Orton. He just re-signed with the WWE, so that's going in his favor. Randy Orton, normally I'm used to seeing Randy Orton take a little bit of a break shortly after WrestleMania. So it kind of seems like it would make more the sense of AJ Styles to go over in this match, because now that I'm really thinking about it, history has shown shortly after WrestleMania, Orton is gone for a little bit. That's just the way he has his deal structured and everything these days. So, yeah, I like AJ Styles. I like AJ Styles to go over. And quite honestly, that would be a good thing, because with Randy getting ready to exit once again for just a hot minute, AJ Styles having that W not only helps his stock, but maybe waiting in the wings of potentially having another title shot opportunity, whether that is for the United States Championship or that is for the WWE Championship, right? It's kind of nice to get back to him and build him up a little bit more. Shane McMahon taking on The Miz, Falls Count Anywhere match. I got to go with The Miz. I've got to go with The Miz. The Miz has been on fire. That man has just been on such a great streak for a good minute now, a couple of years now. That man has been on a really good streak, and I know him and Shane, they're going to tear it up. They are going to, if anything, what I want to see with this Falls Count Anywhere match, I want to see Miz get out of his comfort zone. I want to see Miz not do the typical regime, right? I want to see him not do the Miz standard maneuvers, right? I don't want to see the standard move set from the Miz. So I'm hoping that we'll see some high risk maneuvers from him, some type of a death defying move using something that is a signature of Shane McMahon's and he does it instead. We'd like to see something like that be applied. I'm hoping that's going to be the case in this Falls Count Anywhere match, but everything that's just going oh so good right now with the Miz. I tell you can't go wrong with this young man. Miz, I got him beating the crap out of Shane McMahon, but I think the real question is post-Mania. What's going to happen with The Miz and Shane McMahon? Is Shane going to come out on Tuesday and let bygones be bygones? Or is Shane McMahon, going to continue to be a thorn in The Miz's side? Is this going to continue to be a continuation, and Shane McMahon is another one that has shown that after WrestleMania, he takes a couple of weeks off or whatever. So, I mean, if you're going to do a Falls Count Anywhere match, then you got to do something really sick with The Miz, hurting Shane McMahon so much so that storyline-wise, Shane McMahon is out for maybe a month or two. And the next time you see Shane pretty much lets Miz know, hey, man, we're having a couple of months back, WrestleMania, bygones are bygones, you and me, we're cool. I'm sorry that I came at you the way that I did, blah, 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 blah. I could see legit something like that happening. Kurt Angle taking on Baron Corbin. Singles match. Angle's farewell match. So now rumblings are that maybe John Cena is going to be there in the New York area, but then you got this report that Undertaker is supposedly going to be in the New York area. So is it going to be Undertaker or is it going to be John Cena? What's going on right here? So I think regardless, will Kurt Angle walk out with a W? I think it depends. Let's just say, hypothetically speaking, there's no surprises whatsoever, and that it's going to be Kurt Angle taking on Baron Corbin. Well, if we're going to deal with as the card looks right now, then I'm going to say Baron Corbin defeats Kurt Angle. However, if somebody pops up and it's a goddamn surprise, right? Like somebody comes out, takes out Baron Corbin or punks him or whatever you want to call it, and that person faces Kurt Angle in the last match as well, then I'm like this. If it's Undertaker is going to win, because think about it. That would devalue the WrestleMania streak. Think about that. Think about the two men that have defeated The Undertaker at WrestleMania. Okay? Now, take out Undertaker and instead maybe put Undertaker along, I don't know, maybe it's Undertaker that fucks with Elias and his magical show. Just saying, something to think about. Now, John Cena, he's willing to lose at a WrestleMania. He's done it before. So, if it's John Cena will do the deed and put Kurt Angle over, right? You know John Cena's going to do it. You know John Cena's going to do smart business. He's going to do good business by Kurt Angle as he's on his way out the door, and he's going to do the honors. So, as it stands right now in black and white, if it's Kurt Angle taking on Baron Corbin, I've got it being Baron Corbin just because of that whole StarCast bullshit thing. I really think that's going to change the outcome of how this match, is going to be outlined as far as a winner. But If it's Cena that replaces Baron Corbin, then it's definitely going to be, let me try that again. So if it's Baron Corbin taking on Kurt Angle, just as it stands, then Corbin will win. However, if it's Cena that replaces Corbin, Kurt Angle will win. If Undertaker is in there, you could forget about it. Undertaker is going to win that. Let's keep moving along. Triple H takes on Batista. No holds barred match. If Triple H loses, he must retire from in-ring competition. Remember, this is the one guy that Triple H has not beaten. Triple H right now is... How old is Triple H, first of all? That's the first thing we really should be looking up here. Triple H is 49 years old. Triple H has a couple of more matches left in him. And I think what this really boils down to is when Triple H is ready to retire, who does he want to have his retirement match against? And there's not really that many options that are present right now. Look at the last outing of Shawn Michaels from the Saudi Arabia event, and I love Shawn Michaels. I respect everything that he's contributed to the business, but I never want to see Shawn Michaels in a ring ever again. Father Time has finally caught up with him when it comes to being in that ring, and that's okay. It happens with the best of them, but yeah, Shawn Michaels, no. So you got to take him off the table. Just looking at the current landscape of the WWE right now, it could very well be a case where maybe Triple H's last match comes at the hands of Randy Orton. Or if you're really trying to elevate a young and upcoming talent, maybe his final match is against a guy like maybe Mustafa Ali. I'm just saying, if you want to talk about passing the torch, if you want to talk about elevating another talent, a younger up and coming talent, right? Then you kind of got to go in that direction. But as far as just staying in the realm of a specialty match, a veteran versus another veteran and everything, look, I got to be candid with you all. I really hope that Triple H and Batista go out there and they hit a freaking home run. But I can't help but wonder, since Triple H had that last injury that had came about, how is he holding up? Is he fully at 100%? You would like to believe that if he fully wasn't at 100%, he would not be doing this match with Batista. But I don't think, for those of us that remember the feuds, the matches that Triple H and Batista had years prior, I don't think it's going to match up to what we remember of the yesteryears. I think it's going to be a decent match, but nothing that we're going to be walking away from going, that was fantastic, right? I don't think it's going to be this match that's going to see Triple H go into retirement. I'm just not seeing that. I think when it's all said and done and push comes to shove, I could just see a case coming about where Triple H either faces Randy Orton, or maybe Triple H, Kevin Owens, or maybe Triple H, Roman Reigns, Triple H, maybe even The Undertaker. I can just see something coming about where there's going to be another match. Now, with Vince McMahon focusing on the XFL, right, that's going to have his full undivided attention. He ain't really going to be as hands-on with the WWE, right? Because he's pretty much let it be known he's going to be very focused on the XFL. The timing would be right to see Triple H pretty much, all right, let's go. You are behind the WWE. This is all you. You've been prepared all these years. This is pretty much your moment. While Big Daddy is over here taking care of the XFL, you and the missus, go ahead, do this. Take care of it, right? That would be very interesting as far as going to that post-Raw. That would be very, very interesting, but nah, man, nah. I gotta say Triple H. I never bet against Triple H, especially when it comes to WrestleManias. I can't. Even if it's somebody like a Dave Bautista, and I know the two of them were boys. Even if it's someone like a Batista, when it comes to WrestleMania, I just never bet against Triple H. We got a pre-show matchup. Buddy Murphy defends the Cruiserweight Championship against Tony Nese. Oh, man, two guys that I really, really love. I got to go with Buddy Murphy, man. And you know that NXT crowd, there's going to be huge leftover residue from the night before. And I know Tony Nese is a New York guy and everything, but I'm not really seeing... hang on, let me think about this now. Buddy Murphy, that's another guy I can't really bet against right now. He's been on such a goddamn hot streak. Yeah, Buddy Murphy. I like Buddy Murphy. Brock Lesnar defending the Universal Championship against Seth Rollins. Brock Lesnar, Universal Championship, Seth Rollins. Ooh, man. Ooh, wee. I'm like this. You can't have both of your MMA guys lose the titles in one night, on the same night. Okay? So your former MMA stars in Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, there's no way you can have both of them lose their titles on the same card. Can you? That just does not make sense whatsoever, especially since WWE knows that they've got the MMA fans in the palm of their hands and everything, right? And when you think about that whole mystique about the people that were able to defeat Undertaker at WrestleMania, it's Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns. So keeping that in mind, okay, so you're trying to tell me that after all of this build up that you're doing with Brock Lesnar, you're just pretty much gonna serve him up to Seth Rollins? That just does not make any sense for me whatsoever. The storyline strongly suggests that this is Seth Rollins' time, that Seth Rollins is gonna go out and he's going to be your new WWE Universal Champion, but I'm not exactly confident that's going to be happening. I'm just not. I'm not seeing it right now. I don't think Brock Lesnar will be losing that title, not to Seth Rollins. I think Brock Lesnar is going to be holding on to that title just long enough that WWE can see exactly where things are with a Roman Reigns. And I have a feeling that SummerSlam 2019, at the earliest, it could be Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, and Roman Reigns gets the title. Remember, so many fans were legit ecstatic when Roman Reigns had won the title off of Brock Lesnar. Remember, Roman Reigns never did get beat for that Universal title. Kind of keeping that in mind, do you really want to have that story be out there of Seth Rollins beating this guy that, right? I'm just not convinced. I don't see Seth Rollins walking out of WrestleMania as the new WWE Universal Champion. I don't see it. I think WWE and Lesnar, they're going to sit down if they haven't already done so already. I think a new deal is going to be ironed out. I think he's going to be holding on to that title a bit longer. I don't think Seth Rollins is going to be the one to get it done. I just don't see it happening. One more match to talk about. Ronda Rousey, the Raw Women's Champion, against Charlotte Flair, the SmackDown Women's Champion, and Becky Lynch. It's a winner-take-all triple threat match for the Raw Women's Championship and the SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm kind of following up to what I had said on on the NXT Takeover special that I had offered predictions on, and I have a feeling that Ronda Rousey will not be the one to get pinned. She will not be the one to submit. I have a feeling that Becky Lynch is going to make Charlotte eat a pin or a submission, and she's going to walk out with both titles. The way everything has been aligned, and you've just got to follow the money right now. You got to follow the money trail. Becky Lynch is white hot right now. Why? Why would you not go with the steady hand that has brought in possibly for you a new audience, that has had a lot of people talking on social media? You look at the impressions, the engagements, and all that. Becky Lynch, out of the three, definitely at the very top. So at the biggest stage of them all, why would you then go in an entirely different direction? That makes no sense whatsoever. Like I said on the NXT TakeOver prediction special, let Ronda Rousey, after WrestleMania or whatever, let her go off the grid for about a month and a half, 2 months or whatever. Next time you see her come back, she's with Jasmine Duke and Marina Shafir. This way, you can begin the process of doing the 4 horsewomen versus 4 horsewomen, right? Because if you notice, going back to the earlier match there, when I was talking about that fatal 4-way for the women's tag titles, notice how I had the titles definitely not being retained by Bayley and Sasha Banks. Okay, so I kind of feel as though with the way things are kind of going right now, that's definitely the direction that WWE is probably going to be going. And look, Marina Shafir, Jasmine Duke, they're coming along very well. And not to mention, to pair them up with Ronda Rousey and Shayna Baszler and everybody comes up, I mean, that's going to be one kick-ass interesting stable. That's going to be one of the most fascinating stables, women's stables that's out there. I would say not since Valkyrie, right? And I am a huge fan of the Valkyrie stable. If you all don't know anything about the Valkyrie stable, that stable, it's a villainous stable that was running around for the Shine Wrestling women's promotion. And as far as the members that made it up, I mean, check out the names of this stable, right? And when you hear this, you go, man, that would be pretty badass to check out, you know, and actually see Ronda Rousey and them take those girls on. Taylor Made, April Hunter, Sierra Knight, Allison Kay, Sue Young, Evilise Velez, Rain, Serena Deeb, and Tessa Blanchard. All of those girls make up Valkyrie. How badass would that be? I'm telling you, that would be freaking badass. But yeah, I am definitely seeing, with regards to the main event match at WrestleMania, Becky Lynch. Becky Lynch is going to be walking out as your double champion. So, just to recap one more time, I've got Kurt Hawkins, Zack Ryder becoming your new Raw Tag Champions. I've got Ricochet and Aleister Black becoming the new SmackDown Tag Champions. For the Women's Battle Royal, I am seeing Mandy Rose picking up the W. That is where I'm following it. Do not be too surprised, though, if potentially when Lacey Evans wins it. I've got Kofi Kingston defeating Daniel Bryan to become the new WWE Champion. Beth Phoenix and Natalya win the Fatal 4-Way match to become new Raw Tag Champions. I keep saying Raw Women's Tag Champions. I mean to say Women's Tag Champions. I've been so used to separate titles on both brands. That's what's going on. Roman Reigns defeats Drew McIntyre. Finn Balor defeats Bobby Lashley to become the new Intercontinental Champion. Rey Mysterio defeats Samoa Joe to become the new United States Champion with a little help from Dominic. Look for Mustafa Ali to be the winner of the Andre the Giant Memorial. AJ Styles defeats Randy Orton. Miz defeats Shane McMahon. Baron Corbin defeats Kurt Angle. But remember, if it's John Cena that somehow muscles his way into the match, Cena will do the honors, Kurt Angle will win. However, if Undertaker is the one that faces Kurt Angle, Undertaker will win. Remember that, Taker will win. But just looking at it on paper right now, Baron Corbin defeats Kurt Angle. Triple H defeats Batista in the No Holds Barred match. Buddy Murphy retains the Cruiserweight title over Tony Nese. Brock Lesnar retains the title over Seth Rollins. And in your main event match for winner takes all for the Raw Women's title and the SmackDown title, I've got Becky Lynch walking out of that bad boy. And that is going to do it. I try to get through this as quick as humanly possible. Do appreciate you guys that were able to wing this out with me. Lot of matches, man. Lot of matches. But hey, we're going to be coming at you guys. So some quick programming notes. So this Friday, we've got WWE NXT TakeOver. Friday, April 5th. As soon as that event concludes, hop on the Discord server. Also, hop on youtube.com/the RCWR show. I will be live after TakeOver concludes. I'll give my post reactions to the event, interact with you all, get you all's thoughts on what you all have thought about the pay-per-view. So check that out. Saturday, April 6th is the WWE Hall of Fame ceremony. I will be live on Discord and YouTube once again. Soon as that concludes, go over the Hall of Fame ceremony, overall highs, lows, give it an overall review, and then everything pretty much caps off with WrestleMania 35 on Sunday night, April 7th. Way things are looking right now, I have a strong feeling WrestleMania is not gonna be off at 11 or 11:30 at night. We may not come on until midnight the next day, but as soon as WrestleMania 35 concludes, I definitely will be on the air. We're going to be streaming all over the place, okay? We're going to be on Facebook. We're going to be on YouTube. We're going to be everywhere. Just use the keywords, the RCWR show. We're going to be streaming it everywhere. It's going to be as interactive as we could possibly make it for you guys. So definitely come one, come all. Should be a solid show. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show. Rewind. Check out previous episodes of the RCWR show you may have missed. I just recently made the audio version of this week's show be available for on demand and on the downloads until this coming Friday for NXT TakeOver, our after show. Wishing all of you all to be safe. Most importantly, be kind to one another. Get at me on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Use the keywords, the RCWR show.